All right, so hello and welcome to ABG Introduce Investor Days. Now we're going to hear from Robert Wu, who's the CEO of Oboya Horticulture, and my name is Oskar Wikström, and I work as an analyst here with ABG. So I'll leave the word to you.
Thank you. Well, welcome, and actually I'm also the founder of the company, so I've been doing this business in the past 13 years. Before that, I was working for New Wave Group as Asia manager. So that's one of the companies I think most of you know. Oboya Horticulture Industries is actually working in a very fragmented market. So there we do see certain similarities with New Wave Group, actually. That's a very fragmented market, but it's very big internationally. Well, our vision, sorry that's in Swedish. I understand that everybody understands Swedish. So our aim is to be a leading supplier within the horticulture industry. What do we mean horticulture? We mean is under glass roof. That's a facilitated horticulture. Not open field business. Growing is our business. We help our customers grow their products. And also our company that we are aiming at growth. We are basically a manufacturing company and also combining our own distribution channels, which means we're cutting the middleman within the distributions. So that we're combining our own production capacities in the market. I started the business in China and slowly growing into other markets that established in Sweden because of my previous connections with Sweden. And now we are in, say, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway, and then we have our production facilities in Poland, China, Vietnam, and then we also have, say, businesses in Japan, India, Kenya, and other countries. So totally we do have sales in 60 countries around. Yeah, here you see where we are. In total, we have around 500 people because we have the production facilities. Here you can see a few of our factories. Actually, those factories, we own those properties. That's the one on the left side that's in Poland, outside of Warsaw. It's 22,000 square meters factory, and we'll continue to upgrade the facilities. And on the right side, that's a factory in China. So here you see that we have, say, our own production facilities, that meaning we have, say, product development, so that we have our own control regarding, say, quality and also regarding delivery times, so that also keeps the efficiencies in our manufacturing processes. Yeah, I want to add that we have in total today 6 production facilities. And a few months ago, we had 10. That's actually, I'll come back to that we are in the process of consolidating even ourselves and to achieve efficiencies in the operations. That's quite interesting. I brought a few examples, actually, that I think everyone knows it, that you see in every Swedish shops. And I can give you a number. In Sweden, we produce 125 to 150 million pieces of this. So each person consumes around 11, 12 pieces a year. So that's actually, we produce, or we help our customers set up facilities. Say, we produce, build factories. We call that plant factories. And then we supply everything besides the green part. So that's actually quite easy to understand what we do. So we supply substrates, meaning the inside how you grow your products. We supply nutritions. We supply packaging solutions. We supply logistic solutions within the plant factory. And we also provide packaging solutions to keep the products fresh in the stores. We also help our customer to market their products, meaning that we provide the design of the packaging, we help our customers position themselves in the marketplaces. We also take one example for you to understand our customer structure. On the left side, that we have growers, say professional growers, who grow salads, herbs, flowers, pot plants, so whatever they grow. Also, for instance, cannabis, that whatever is growing that we could provide our services. So that's professional growers. Then the products to be distributed by wholesalers. So there we provide, say, packaging solutions, logistic solutions to our customers. So also, some of the customers are selling through retailers. Then we have also some of the products selling to private users. And then we have, say, Bauhaus, you can find our products, Bullist, you can find our products, and Yenia and Plantation. So that gives you some idea of those known brands, that you know that which kind of customers we are serving in the international markets. It's very traditional. I mean, growing has been ever since mankind. That's for 2 million years, or how you define that we have a growing business. But nowadays, because of the efficiencies and the industrializing of the agricultural business, say, a lot of the agricultural production is under facilitated manufacturing. For instance, these I regard it as industrial production. It's a 365 days production, never ends. So every day we ship out to stores. And the production continues throughout the year without being affected by weather, whatever the conditions. So this is industrialized the production process. It's I would say, a lot of local producers, a lot of local actors. So there we see a lot of consolidation possibilities to build up a sizable business internationally. Last year, we relooked our strategy, that we redefined that we have 2 home markets. That's Scandinavia. So here we have a lot of focus to service our customers in the Nordic countries. Then we are focusing on the Chinese market. Then we look at the export market. Then we look at, say, 4 key export markets. That's Holland, US, Poland, and Germany. That we look at that as a key export market. Then we have, say, other export market that we don't have that focus. The market is very big. I have to admit, we don't have an exact, say, estimation of the total size of the market. But we roughly estimate a 15% of the product value is related to us. Say, substrates, say, nutritions, the facilities, and the packaging materials, and so on. So roughly 15% of the value. We are still very small even though we are doing $500 million sales, but we are still very, very small company. And therefore, I do see that we have a great growth potentials in the international markets. And at this moment, we see there's a mega trend that we have close to customer production, which gives us an additional advantage that a lot of growers are relocating themselves to key markets. For instance, those production is produced here in Stockholm, just outside of Stockholm. We see that trend is actually applying to a lot of markets. And we also see that we have a trend that using recycled materials and then also, say, biodegradable materials. So therefore, that we're investing in those, say, product innovations. Yeah. So here, there's again, we are a small, I would say, I still call ourselves as a kind of small company, and then we are quite international, and we could provide customers one-stop shopping solutions, including, say, the services, as to say, packaging designs, and say, growing technical support and so on. And we are basically also a manufacturing company, that we manufacture most of our products and combining with our partners' products, providing our customer one-stop shopping solutions. Yeah, that's as I said, that we are a company in the right time because of the mega trends of what I mentioned, that's industrialization of agricultural businesses. That's a close to market production of agricultural products. And we see that we have a lot of, say, environmental friendly products that based on biodegradable recycling solutions and so forth. In the past few years, we've been focusing on growth. If you look at, say, the past 3-4 years, we've been growing almost, say, 35%. And I looked back in the past, say, if I look at, say, from 14 up to 17, we've grown roughly, say, average of 42%. But that provided we've been suffering from the profitabilities. So since last year, we've been shifting our focus on profitabilities. And here that I'll show you some changes. If you look at this year, from Q1 to Q3, and we do have slightly reduced our turnover. However, we do see that we have a improved the profitabilities in the EBITDA, as well as, say, EBIT. And I can see that continually that we are going to improve our profitabilities in the coming years. Our turnover, roughly 14 million less than last year comparably. However, if you look at the EBITDA, we had 37.4 million compared to last year's 12.9 million, and the EBIT, that's 24.5 million compared to last year's 3.9 million. And we'll continue to focus on profitabilities in the coming years. We did quite a lot of, say, activities to cut costs, to consolidate our businesses. And if you look at it, say, we realized 20 million in costs mainly European companies in the past months. We've been relocating our manufacturing. We had 2 factories in Denmark, which been relocated, have been sold. And we have, say, a manufacturing in Kenya that we're turning that company into, say, a sales company. We do see that number of stocks. Just a few months ago, we had 11 stock places in Europe. Now I can tell you that we have only 4 warehouses in the European markets. So the number of activities we've been doing in the to get the business much more efficient and consolidated. So that's what we see that we have in this year, that we have a cost-cutting program that gives us roughly 27 million in cost savings. Well, that maybe that's not the right word, say, turn around the company. However, if you look at the capital market, today our shares is really extremely undervalued. So therefore, I'm referring that as a turnaround company. That we are focusing on profitabilities, as I said. And we look at, say, efficiency of our manufacturing, that we're consolidating to get to see larger units compared to the previous years. And we are also consolidating sales companies, sales offices. And we're also looking at, to say, consolidating logistics and purchasing activities. That just give you one number, that we do more than 3,000 40-foot containers. That's quite a few volumes that circulating. So there we still haven't got to see consolidated solutions. So those areas will be my focus and to get to the company much more efficient. We look at, say, improve our margins, and also, of course, improve our, say, profitabilities in the company. Well, that we had high goals, as I said. We want to grow. But now that we are shifting the growth to a balanced growth, meaning that we should provide a profitability as a fundamental focus, and then we look at growth. So we're still looking at, say, doing a 1 billion sales, and looking at, say, the net margin around 5%. And we really look at, to say, a positive cash flow within the company. We've been punished by the market, of course, due to the growth that we've been pushing in the past years. So now that we look at, to say, how can we return to a profitability in a company. Yeah, if I summarizing the presentation of Oboya, is that we're still a growing company, and I can tell you quite frankly, it's quite easy to grow. We have a tremendous market potential. However, that now we have to slow down a little bit, focusing on profitabilities. In terms of the market capitalization, I call ourselves as a turnaround company. And we believe that we are a company right in time, even though we are quite traditional business, not really sexy like the IT companies or medical companies, but we are a very solid, say, down-to-earth company that is still highly interesting with the time and the trends in our society. We have had quite a lot of, say, activities in the past months, quarters, that we are focusing on improve our margins, profitabilities. We're still looking at, to say, a 1 billion sales target, and I'm quite used to high growth companies in my past careers. Yeah, that's what I can say. That's my presentation, and I hope you got a good picture of the company, and also that it's quite easy to understand what we do. So we don't do the green part, otherwise we do everything around it. So that's I can conclude. Yeah, right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. So we also have time for a few questions. Yeah. One of my first questions was a bit regarding the market share and the market potential. So you highlight that, I mean, this is obviously a huge potential market. Yeah. You highlight that you're below 1% share today, but you have your core markets, which is Nordics and China. Yeah. What's the situation there? What is your market shares in these core markets, and how much of your sales today come from these core markets?
If you look at just Scandinavia, we do around 200 million in Scandinavia. So that's a quite a big chunk of our total sales. In China is around 100 million, and that's our two key markets. If you look at the export market, Holland is one of the largest market that we do. It's around, say, 60, 70 million. And the US market, we do also 50, 60 million. That's those key markets, I would say. Yeah.
And the market shares?
Still, I don't want to claim we have any market share because we are still very small internationally. Yeah,
understood.
In this market.
All right, thank you. And in terms of this sales goal, so $1 billion in sales, obviously after you implemented all these changes that you talked about, does imply some form of acquisition, I guess.
Well, that to reach that goal, we may need to look at acquisitions.
How do you work with acquisition? Do you have a clear pipeline that companies you target? Do you want to expand your product offering or expand geographically, or how do you view?
That's actually that we have looking at the two paths. One is that complementing our existing product lines to enrich our product offerings. So that's one direction we are looking at. And the second direction would be, say, enhance our distribution channels. But that will only apply to those two home markets, China and Scandinavia. Okay. Yeah. In terms of product supplies, we don't limit ourselves because that will be looking at different product supply possibilities.
Yeah, understood. And in terms then of if we go back to this billion in sales, the split between what would be acquired growth and what would come organically, do you have an idea of?
Well, organically, that I would say with the past experience and then also the market possibilities, I do see that I'm not say easy, but 20-30% organic growth is manageable. That's easy. In a way, I would just describe it easy. And then, of course, we need to combining, say, acquisitions. Yeah.
And in terms of demand for your products, so organic products is something that's really in vogue right now, so it's very popular. Yeah. Does that differ across your regions? Is it more popular in certain areas than others? And how do you view that going forward? Is that a strong growth trend?
I think that will grow, especially the European Union. And I think that Scandinavia is driving forces behind the environmental friendly products. So that gives us a lot of advantage because this is our home market, so that we are leading or in this say trend, so that we can apply that experience and knowledge in other markets. Yeah. China still a few steps behind within this area. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I think we can squeeze in one more. Yeah. So one question I had as well, you showed your different types of customers, so professional growers, wholesalers, and regular store sellers. What's the split here? So which is your core customer?
We are a professional company serving professional growers. Yeah. I would say 80%, 85% we are supplying to the professional growers. I mean, just for instance, one grower outside of Stockholm would use 20 million, 25 million products from us. So that's the professional growers that we are serving.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think we unfortunately have to round it off there, but thank you so much for coming, Robert. And
thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ah.